Good afternoon. Welcome to the ScanWorkX Big Reveal webinar. My name is Brad Docimo, one of the business analysts for ScanWorkX. I'll be doing a quick introduction and some admin notes, and then we'll get this thing kicked off. So we're presenting this webinar in a system called Adobe Connect. There are a couple things to know that will make your lives easier when you watch this conference. So first off, you have the option to mute your speakers. If you decide to call in using the teleconference line that's at the bottom of the screen instead of using your computer audio, you can choose the mute my speakers option at the top. Second, you have the opportunity to go full screen near the top right of your screen. Click the full screen option, especially when we get to the demonstration portion. That will definitely make it easier to see the text on the screen when we're doing the live demonstration. On the right-hand side of your screen, there is you'll see a panel that says Q&A at the top. With this many people on the call, we cannot open up the audio conference to questions. There are just too many people will be stepping on each other. And more than likely, we'll have people in their cars and different things, and we have to eliminate the background noise as much as possible. So if you have any questions, please type those questions in the Q&A panel. That'll come up on the right-hand side of your screen at different times. That we're taking questions in the meeting, and we'll answer those either live on the call or we'll type answers back to you in the Q&A panel, and you'll see that come up. One note, if you are in full screen mode, you won't be able to see the Q&A panel because the desktop share will actually cover that Q&A panel when you're in full screen. So if you want to ask a question, just drop out of full screen mode, ask your question, and then you'll see the response come in, and you can jump back and forth to and from full screen whenever you need to do that. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. I'll turn it over to Roger Resley, the President of Insync Solutions.
Thank you, Brad, and welcome everybody. Greetings from Overland Park, Kansas. Very happy that you're with us today. I also have a couple of colleagues that are going to be assisting. We have Philip Murphy, our VP of Operations and Product Development, that's going to be assisting. And I also have with me Kathy Hoffman. So say hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
It really is an exciting day. Goodness, today marks probably over a year worth of design and development to bring you our latest release of ScanWorkX, which we're going to be calling ScanWorkX Enterprise. The feature set is very, very rich, and it really, really is some pretty big news. For those of you that are not that familiar with ScanWorkX, we believe we quickly become the premier mobile data collection solution for Microsoft Dynamics AX. 2013 has been an outstanding year, record number of new customer adds, and we think the reasons for our success are pretty plain. It speaks, I think, to the power of a product, but certainly the power of our people who develop and implement ScanWorkX. Our success, I think, is hinged upon our intelligent navigation, our logical transaction flow, some of the features that we believe should be in a data collection product, having done this now almost 30 years. If you look at the navigation and the way we move around, the product, very little screen hopping, just some very, very nice user experiences are certainly enjoyed with ScanWorkX. Our platform independence and our device independency has also been very, very popular this year. Every transaction, every function on really any device, and I think what's really cool about what Brad and the development team have done is to build these really nifty native clients for each operating system, which just gives us fantastic performance. Things like the productivity console for looking at key performance indicators, helping your businesses be best in class by looking at those metrics which make sense. All of these things I think have really helped propel us as a product to seriously be considered when you're looking at data collection. ScanWorkX is also, I would say, riding the wave and the momentum of success that Microsoft Dynamics AX is experiencing, in the marketplace. Certainly, a lot has been going on within the Dynamics AX community, lots of new announcements. and their growth has really been phenomenal. Any of you that have tracked Microsoft's success over the last 2 or 3 years recognize that they're quickly climbing to what many consider to be a tier 1 supplier, certainly strong at tier 2, and they're really dominating the small to medium business marketplace. Right now, I think Gartner's got their big conference going on down in Orlando, and there are some very interesting things being said about Microsoft Dynamics AX. And I found it interesting today that they quoted one person saying that of every 3 ERP packages bought every day, at least one of them is Microsoft Dynamics AX. So what is propelling all that success? You know, why are they at 31% average annual growth rate a year, approaching 1 million users, certainly somewhere over 20,000 customers? You know, what is it about Microsoft Dynamics AX that makes them so successful? Certainly they'll tell you it's powerful, it's agile, it's simple, you know, all of those good things. But I think you can really boil it down to really one word, and that would be flexibility. Flexibility is, I think, what everyone enjoys about Microsoft Dynamics AX, and I think it is the secret to certainly, you know, their growth. So as we talk about, you know, what we're doing about this, you know, what is it that what we're trying to accomplish with this new release? Actually, we're trying to really further enhance ScanWorks to give it some of those same features that customers really enjoy about Microsoft Dynamics AX. What influenced this? It actually was you in the audience. Many of our customers have told us what they would like to see, you know, in the next generation of mobile data collection solutions for Microsoft Dynamics AX. So we listened to our customers, we listened to our partners, we talked to a lot of ISVs, we had good dialogue and discussion with Microsoft, and I think the feedback was very consistent, it was very loud, and it was very clear. It was, give us a mobile data collection solution, which is powerful, agile, and simple, but just like Dynamics AX, let's have some flexibility. Let us build our own custom mobile transactions. The words were self-sufficiency, not dependency. And that really was the genesis of our thought to go forth and build something that we think is really cool. Now, if Brad played the drums, which he doesn't, and Kathy plays them poorly, I would have them do a drum roll right now. But since we can't do that, we'll spare you that aggravation. And we'll tell you about the greatest new thing that we have to offer with ScanWorks, and that is something which we call the XDF, pronounced XDev, or the ScanWorX Developer Framework. We believe this is a toolkit that's really going to allow you to unleash your productivity and your creativity and really allow you to use a product in a way that you use Microsoft Dynamics AX. XDF is our logo there. Of course, there's the XDev logo, and again, it's pronounced XDev for you that want to begin pronouncing it correctly. So let's talk a little bit about mobile applications made easy. What we have done is given you the ability now with XDev to build robust mobile transactions inside of Microsoft Dynamics AX using only X++. You're going to see some way cool drag and drop features. You're also going to see some X++. But I think if you're familiar with Microsoft Dynamics AX and you've worked in it in a native environment, you're going to find this a way cool tool. It's a toolkit, and it is for developing mobile custom transactions. You also have the ability to make modifications in a limited fashion to some of the existing standard transactions. And it is true, we have many standard transactions. In fact, well over 50. Many of these transactions have multiple functions within them. So we do have lots of base transactions. However, there is always the case of a customer who is needing to build a special transactions, need to modify a transaction, again, to mirror what they've done in building their solution within Microsoft Dynamics AX. They are wanting the flexibility to do the same thing in their mobile application space. It works with all of our ScanWorks product. All devices are supported, and it's completely integrated into Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012, all versions. want to be very clear about that. XDev is not for AX 2009 or earlier versions, but it is strictly for AX 2012. Your imagination is really the limit. You can make any current or future Dynamics AX function mobile. Any area, any feature, any add-on. For the ISVs out there, whether it be in pharma, metal, automotives, high tech, if you've built a great add-on for Microsoft Dynamics AX, you now have the ability to make that a mobile application as well. For those of you that have had heavy customization in your AX implementation, you can take any of those modifications and yourself make them a mobile transaction. And yep, it's pretty damn fast. Our team has worked very, very hard to make the development tool very agile, very easy to use, and you can literally build transactions today and release them tomorrow. We're doing that in a rapid development platform. We've got a lot of tools to streamline that process, and we'll show you a little later, and I think Philip will talk to the way that we can deploy, these new transactions, the way we license them, the way that you can get to them very, very quickly. So what's in this for me? Well, I guess it depends on your perspective. Whether you're a partner, an ISV, or an end user, there really is a lot to consider. Let's take our good customers first, end users. Certainly those that have development staff, people that know X++, are accustomed to working with and supporting Microsoft Dynamics AX. The larger companies that like to do this, you now have self-sufficiency. There's no dependency on a third party. You'll have the tools to take away and do and modify and certainly support your own mobile data collection solution. We save you service dollars, maintenance dollars, and in some cases it's nice to deal with only your major partner and not have a plethora of third parties that you have to work with. For ISVs, I think it's very attractive that you can add mobility to your ISV solution, allowing you to sell more license with an enhanced application set. Certainly you can make it work the way you want, and the nice thing about it, all that mobile processing, the screens, the devices, all that comes with ScanWorks, and we're going to allow you to even rebrand it. So if you want to put your name on it and sell it as your mobile data collection solution within your ISV product, you certainly can. For partners, I think there's a tremendous upside. It's all about helping you sell more Dynamics AX licenses, giving you the ability in your pre-sales activities as you approach a client to give them a total solution, which now includes mobile data collection. You will be given the tools to do your own pre-sales, to develop your own transactions, and again, you can brand it if you wish, but you will be able to control that sales cycle. You will be able to do your own demos, and you will have the power to craft whatever solution you might need for that particular client. A lot of the partners we know are working in verticals. We have a lot of good partners that specialize in one vertical area, and they have very, very powerful add-ons to their product. This is a way that they can build their own specific mobile transactions. Again, we're trying to make mobile applications easy. Well, what can it do? Well, there's a lot of really neat stuff and cool stuff, and some of the real more technical stuff I'm certainly going to have Philip assist, but I can give you some highlights. We got some standard features which are going to apply both to our standard Dynamics AX and the new Enterprise version. You're going to be able to fine-tune those transactions, be it adding a field to a label, writing custom queries to drive label content, print multiple labels per transaction, even create the AOT queries that allow you to come up with your own list of values. A lot of standard new features that are going to let this product that was highly configurable now really be programmable in terms of what you would like it to do. Obviously, ScanWorkX Enterprise gives you the ability to create unique transactions to support, say, a custom business process. Extend any Microsoft Dynamics AX for mobile use, and extend your mobile data collection solution as you wish for Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012. It's built upon a very good platform, and that, of course, is the tried and true ScanWorks platform. We do believe it's a feature-rich platform, very configurable, and certainly tightly and cleanly integrated with Dynamics AX. We believe you can deploy these transaction libraries very, very quickly, and of course add your custom transactions as you need them. Keep in mind that you offload all of the mobile processing onto the guns or to the devices, and allows you to focus just on building the transaction logic, again using X++, which those of you that work in this product daily know very, very well. I think our team likes to say integration without modification. ScanWorks installs from a single Microsoft Dynamics AX model file. It can be installed with a single command line entry, and just as easily can be cleanly uninstalled with another single command line, leaving no trace whatsoever. It does install at your ISV layer, and it's separate from the other models. So upgrades are easy, and I think I want to stress that it does not touch, modify, cover, or interfere with any native AX object. And we think that's how it should be. Obviously, the seamless integration is paramount, and it's what people like so much about ScanWorks. You're working from inside the Dynamics AX client. Learning our product is easy. Those that work within Dynamics AX pick up on ScanWorks very, very quickly. Administrating, backing up, and working with ScanWorks is just like working in Dynamics AX every day. Well, with that, I'm happy to ask Kathy to give me a hand, because we would like to give away a few prizes and certainly get some of our good customers, partners, and ISVs some apparel, which supports our new XDev logo.
All right, good afternoon. There's going to be a couple of breaks in between Roger and Philip flipping back and forth here, so it is going to be my duty to pull a name out here as far as the first winner, or the first two winners of a t-shirt and mouse pad. And what we'll do here is just do a first name and last initial, and we will email you and get your size for what you need on a t-shirt, and we'll be doing a couple of these throughout the session. So the first name is Crystal P, and we will be emailing you. And Crystal, if you would just reply with what size shirt you'd want. Let me grab the second name. Second is Jeff J. So we have both Crystal P and Jeff J. If you would, we will be contacting you and emailing you to get your shirt sizes and be sending that out to you.
Thank you, Kathy. I believe we're going to move now to the important part of the presentation, and I would like to introduce Philip Murphy, who runs our Operations and Product Development Group. Philip will begin showing you some of the new XDev products.
All right. Again, my name is Philip Murphy, and I run the Product Development Operations departments here at NSYNC, and I appreciate everyone joining us today. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time today on PowerPoints, and we're actually going to take a look at the actual product coming up rather quickly. So we're going to show essentially the product lifecycle of a transaction and how it's built, and we're going to look at the editor. We'll go through how you can test and go through debugging and some best practice error checking to keep your code in compliance or with the Microsoft Dynamics AX standards. And then we'll look at deploying the application as well, how those transactions can be exported to either migrate through development, test, production, or even if they're developed off-site at a partner, how they can be packaged up and sent to a client. So the slide we're looking at here really has to do with a product lifecycle in general of taking a transaction from beginning to end. And this slide looks rather complicated, and it is. But the beauty of ScanWorks and the XDev framework is that only the boxes shown in orange are what you have to do as either a partner or a customer. And we will touch on where you have to put the code. So essentially the orange boxes is your X++ code. Everything else on the screen is handled either by ScanWorks natively, or the green boxes are when you were making calls into Dynamics AX. So really what I want to stress here is a lot of integration tools are simply an API toolkit, and we've taken it much further than that. It's not just a group of APIs where we send you some documentation, okay, how can we interface, and you don't have to create that front end. You have graphical editing tools, integrated debugging and testing tools, we have a best practice tools, as well as a completely documented reference library so that you can see how can I make my transaction do this. So it's a very integrated package that encompasses the whole development lifecycle, not just API calls. So a question you may be having at this point is, what do I need to know if I take this on myself as a customer or a partner? And really there's only two things, and it's a knowledge of X++, because that's the programming language that allows you to interact with Dynamics AX and the database, and as well some AX knowledge. Obviously everybody's running AX, and you need to know what function you want to extend to the handheld and how you get to that function within AX. And really that's it. You don't need to know any other programming languages, no third-party tools, just X++, and have Microsoft Dynamics AX. So let's go ahead and just take a look at Microsoft Dynamics AX, and let me share my screen here. And we're just going to take a look at the XDEF inside Microsoft Dynamics AX. So this interface should look familiar to everybody on the call. And what I'm going to do is take a look at the ScanWorks integrated piece. Yeah, and if anybody on the call is not full screen, this will be a lot easier to see if you do go full screen by clicking the button in the top bar of the full screen button there. So what I'm looking at here is ScanWorks, which is integrated directly into Microsoft Dynamics AX, just like standard ScanWorks, the enterprise version, and the XDEF transaction editors in there. So just like you configure our label printing and administration and all the other tools for ScanWorks, the XDEF transaction editor is right here within Dynamics AX. And I really want to stress that because that's important. This is the exact same interface. We are inside Dynamics AX. So what I'd like to do now is let's just quickly walk through how a transaction is built and deployed. I'm not going to spend a lot of time in code. I realize that's not something the wider audience is probably interested in. It'll look familiar to the developers, obviously, but I'm going to give a high-level overview of how a transaction is built and deployed. So I brought up the XDEF transaction editor, and you can see this is a list of my custom developed transactions that myself as a customer or partner have developed. And I can create new ones. I can create a blank one. I can clone a transaction. So if I have something I'm tested on and I want to save it, I can create a new transaction and just start editing there and still have my other version. And once you have your transaction created, you can give it a class name. So you'll see I'm calling it HR Field Service. The transaction we've chosen here today, we've kind of intentionally chosen something that you may not necessarily normally see on a handheld. And so, you know, the normal warehousing and production and project and all the other transactions that you would typically see on a handheld, I wanted to show that really you can take any function in Dynamics AX and you can deploy that to a handheld. And again, it doesn't just have to be Dynamics AX native functionality. Again, if there's an ISV solution or a customization that's been done in your installation, and those are done inside of AX, you can also extend those out to the handheld as well. So you give your transaction a description. You can even set the icon that you want it to default to. Those of you that run ScanWorks today, you know that you have the option of choosing the icons you want to use and even loading your own. And really the only thing coding at this level is you need to call your initialization event. And this is simply the X++ code. What happens when this transaction starts? So, you know, clear the screen, put the transactions on the field, on the screen, the fields on the transaction screen, those types of things. A couple of things you can notice on the screen. There's a couple of edit in AOT buttons. We do have a small editor here that allows you to edit your X++ code or view it and make small changes. Generally, you would do an edit in AOT. Again, everything is right in Dynamics AX. So we have just launched the AOT editor, so any developers on the line, you'll notice and be very familiar with this screen. So everything is right in the data dictionary within Dynamics AX. No need to go outside and use a third-party editor or a different language. So once we've defined our transaction, we really, at this point, we don't have anything on it. We don't have any fields on the screen. So this is where you go in and you create fields. You can add pretty much any field you want, and in code we'll tie it back to AX. But you'll see here I've got a header, so I can choose the field type. So I've chosen, okay, I'm going to put a header on the screen. It says this is an HR mobile transaction. And then I put a divider line, and then I get right into the actual transaction fields. So you'll see I've added several here. You've got full name, employee ID, and we'll go through several, or one of these quickly here. You'll see that the prompt, again, developers are going to see that ASYS 83801 as a Dynamics AX label file. So again, fully multilingual capable. You'll see it's interpreting that right there. The display name is full name. Now I can put just a prompt in there that is hard-coded. Not necessarily recommended, just because in order to meet AX requirements, and if somebody changed the label file, from student to something else, it would automatically pull in if you're using the label file. And the reason I want to show these things is how fully integrated we are, and that we're going to work with standard AX as well as standard ScanWorks, and all the features that are available in this developer framework for you to use as well. So I can do things like, okay, do I want the field displayed on the screen? Do I want to auto-populate it? Do I want to force uppercase? All of these things. The list of values. I can define my own query source. So if the user needs some help, I can write a query right in Dynamics AX within the AOT and say, okay, show me all the employees, their name, and maybe I want to see their address in the list of values or their state or something. I can set that query. We talked about the field type, and then at this level, there's really a couple of events you can do in the X++ code. There's a pre-event and a validation event. So what happens when the field gets focused? Are there things that need to happen in the pre-event, such as, based on something that they've entered previous? Is there something that needs to happen on this field? Those types of things. And then the validation event. Once they've entered data and I exit the field, you'll see at the bottom here, I'm just doing some validation and making sure that it is indeed a valid employee name. And then if there's an error, what do I do? So again, all of the standard features available to standard ScanWorks transactions, you have control over here as well. Let's take a look at a couple of other features in there. Now that we've put the fields on the screen, a couple of things we can do. We can actually preview our transaction. So if I hit the preview button, it's going to bring up a little window that essentially shows you what your transaction is going to look like on the screen. So you've got your header, you've got your divider line, and then it's showing you what fields are on the screen, the employee name, the ID, marital status, all of that. So you can preview it, and also we have what we call error check, and this is kind of a best practices. And I'm going to go in here, and you'll see it came back with a couple of notices. And let's just pick one here. We looked earlier at the full-time student field, and I had used static text instead of a sys label. And you'll see it's warning me that I'm not going to be multilingual compatible because I've used a hard-coded text string instead of a label. So I can come in here and pick that. You'll see, oh, you know what, indeed, I didn't. Let's just go ahead and grab a field and put it in there. And if we run our error checking again, you will see that that particular message is gone. So again, a very robust set of tools. Again, there's a debugger in here that you can debug your transaction using the standard AX debugger that will help you work through any problems in your transaction. Once that is completed, so we've defined our transaction, we've also put our fields on the transaction and put what happens when the field is entered and when it's exited. And now the only thing left really is to define what we call our events. So you have a save event. When the transaction is completed, what event am I calling? So you can see I can define my code. What happens when I close out my transaction and I'm done and I want to save it to Dynamics AX? All of my error checking and calling the AX method that updates, in this case, the employee information. List of values is on the screen in the command window. I've got a little custom user-defined action, so you can define your own action. You're not limited to here. You can define your own action and put it into our menu, and then you can call custom events, whether it be, in this case, clearing a form, or maybe you want to enable another field or do something else within Dynamics AX. And then also the end, so when you're finished with the transaction, what happens? If you hit the end button, by default, it's just going to go back to the menu. Again, very robust, and at this point, we've really finished developing our transactions. So what do we do next? And so let's just look at a couple of things. I'm going to go ahead and close out of the transaction, the XDEF transaction editor, and let's just see what happens now. And what I want to do is take you through, okay, I'm done with my transaction, and I want to deploy it to either a customer or in my own internal development package into maybe go from development to our test environment so my users can test it. So we have the XDEF package export. This allows you to export the entire transaction that you've built and import it into a separate system. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the HR field service transaction. You'll see off to the right that it's showing me what is going to be brought in. So it's pulling in all of the methods that are going to be imported, the fields that are going to be imported, the menu items. So you're seeing exactly what's going to be brought in. I can tell the system, do I want to overwrite my existing package? And then there's a couple of features here that probably the ISVs and partners may be more interested in, but this is where you can protect your intellectual property. So I can password protect this. So if I don't have if I've built a transaction, it can only be imported to customers that I've shared that password with. I can also do based on a particular company. So if I want to only be able to import it to a company called ScanWorks and even a particular AX license key, I put those in, and then this transaction will only import into a company named ScanWorks with this AX license key, and they have this password. You can version, or I can have it happen automatically. I'm letting the system create my version for me, and I can put any notes in here if I would like. At this point, you simply hit export transaction. That package will be created. It is encrypted securely so that nothing that matters is in plain text. You know, anything, your code and everything is encrypted. So once that's imported, there's a couple of things that happen. We've worked very hard in the system so that your custom developed transactions really work no differently than if you had purchased a canned transaction within our system. So let's take a look at a couple of things. I'm going to go in and just quickly show you one feature. I'm going to go in, there's our HR field service transaction, and you'll see I have a custom parameter in here. So just like in our transactions, like order pack and our pick transaction, I have these custom transactions that basically drive how the transaction works. You can put custom parameters, transaction parameters in yours, and you'll see I just put one in today, and basically is what this parameter is doing is saying, is it read-only? So I can deploy this transaction with this to set to yes or no. If you set it to yes, the user is going to be able to look up an employee and see the information but not update anything. If I leave it to no, they're going to be able to update. So the last thing we'll show in AX, and then is what we'll do is go out and actually see the transaction running. Let's just look at the menus and navigation. Again, those of you that run ScanWorks today, this will look very familiar. And I have a menu called XDEF Demonstration, and you'll see that I'm allowed to bring in the HR field service transaction that we showed today, and it falls right in here just like any other transaction that comes with the system. So again, our transactions and your custom developed transactions are treated just the same and fit right in there. You can define what printer by default on this menu the user uses. You can define the icon. You can change the prompt. And so again, no difference in how our transactions and custom development ones will work. So to wrap up the technical portion of this, let's just log in and see what a transaction looks like. And so what I've done here, this is our standard web interface. Again, we mentioned earlier we have iOS and Android and Windows Phone. We've got Windows Mobile, Embedded, CE. This is just our standard web interface that I've started. And again, you're going to see all of our transactions that come with the system, and then our HR field service that we put on the menu falls right in there. If I choose the transaction, I can do things like list of values. So I can hit my list of values, and you'll see it brings back a list of every user in the system. Well, maybe that's not great. You don't want to scroll through those. So I can start typing, and I can just do, okay, show me just the ones that have NIC in the name, and it brings back, and okay, I'm looking for Nick. So all the features available in our standard transactions that everybody's used to, you can also do those in your own transactions. So you'll see immediately it brings back his employee ID if he's married, and I can just go down here and say, okay, you know what? Nick had a baby last night. So I can simply change his dependents to 2, save the transaction, and I've just updated Dynamics AX with that information real time on the mobile. Again, I realize this transaction isn't something you can put on a handheld, but that was kind of the point of picking this, is that you can extend any Microsoft Dynamics AX ISV solution customization right out to the handheld. You don't have to worry about the communication to the handheld, the platforms, the web, the web, Windows Mobile. We're taking care of all that for you in the background. The encryption, security, licensing, all of that takes place automatically for you, and all you're having to do is the X++ code around a couple of events and define your fields, and that's it. So I'm going to hand this back over to Roger. We're extremely proud of the system we've put together, and if you have any questions technically, feel free to contact myself or anybody on my team, and we'll be glad to answer questions. And Roger's going to take it back over here, and then I think we're going to give away another prize before we move on.
Thank you, Philip. Very exciting stuff. Now I know why Steve Jobs was so excited to announce some of these new things. You guys have worked very, very hard at this, and your hard work has really paid off. Thank you for that overview. I would like Kathy to give us another winner here.
All right, we'll do a couple more here. Next one is Lynn B. Lynn B. Again, we will email you out to get what size you would like on your t-shirt, and obviously the mouse pad comes in one size. And the next one is Chris L. Chris L.
Okay, thanks, Kathy. All right, well, looks like we're about on time. I'd like to just wrap up here if we could. Obviously, we want you to proceed with confidence if you go down this path, and we've given a lot of thought to what it's going to take to support this exciting new release, and particularly the XDev development environment. We're going to have a full regimen of training courses, both courses here at our corporate headquarters in Overland Park, Kansas, as well as the ability to do on-site training if that's easier for some of our partners, ISVs, or even our customers. We have a number of support agreements for both partners and users, including ISVs. We are going to be able to structure agreements such that if you want to be a developer, that's fine. If you want to be a reseller, that's fine as well. There is certainly a lot of documentation that comes with the training, and we do have a full complement of customer resource centers and information that's going to be available online for both the partners and the customers. We get a sequence on slides here, Brad? Are we doing all right? Okay. Talk just a minute about the documentation. It's not just how to use XDev, but also some great examples on best practices. And in fact, there are some sample transactions and templates that come with the install package, which are fully documented for you to come up to speed very, very quickly on the proper use. As far as the intellectual property, let's talk about that just a minute. I think this is also an exciting consideration when we're looking at a product like this. All the transaction code is retained in your system, whether you're a partner developer, an ISV, or a customer, it is your code. As such, you own all the intellectual property for anything that you create using XDev. You control the licensing, the installation rights. For partners, you can build and sell these transactions any way you wish. And obviously for customers, you have the rights to move these around to multiple locations, multiple sites. It is your intellectual property. We can also assist you with safeguarding your proprietary logic through some protected assemblies. And I think Philip touched on that when he talked about some of the encryption capability that we have. As far as the licensing, obviously there's a lot of detail and things that you'll probably want to learn about after this presentation, and we certainly do have the software order forms, we have the license agreements, and we have the partner agreements all ready to go, but they will get into the detail of questions that you might have about, well, how does this work? It's actually pretty simple. We now have two flavors of ScanWorks. We have our basic ScanWorks, and then we have ScanWorks Enterprise. Anyone who wishes to deploy and run their own custom-built transaction using the XDev environment will need to have a valid ScanWorks Enterprise license. XDev transactions that you build do have to have an activation key, and we have a activation runtime license which we can deploy, and it's a very nominal cost to do that. With the development environment, which we will be giving to qualified partners that are certified to take the training, they certainly will have runtime licenses built into their development environment, which will allow them to test their transactions thoroughly. Really, there are no hidden costs, no additional transaction fees based upon the number of end users, anything like that. If you build it, you own it, and you can do with it as you wish. So yeah, now we're in black. That's the thing for the enterprise version. There are a lot of advanced features in ScanWorks Enterprise. So far, we've been dwelling on XDev, which is a major component of what ScanWorks Enterprise is. But there's also some other pretty cool stuff that development has put into this new edition that we call Enterprise. In the edition, besides XDev, we have the transaction runtime licensing. We have the packaging tool, which Philip talked about. We have another service, which we call Sentinel service, which is actually ScanWorks monitoring that I'm going to talk a bit about. And we have yet another surprise, the ability to buy ScanWorks as software as a service. So those licensing tools and the ability to manage all of that is also contained in the Enterprise Edition. Briefly, just about the packaging tool, that of course is the ability to export the XDev transactions for your migration and deployment. It's also your protection of your intellectual property, where you can create those encrypted packages. It also manages the license keys and all of the protection around imports and exports. Certainly you can restrict this import to specific Dynamics AX license holders. So really you're in control, and for those partners that want to go and service customers, or ISVs that want to control those customers, they certainly have all the tools that they require to fully support them from a licensing perspective. Sentinel service. This is a way cool tool in my view, which is offering what I believe the best reliability and uptime available in the marketplace. You know, a touching 5 nines, as my buddy Jack Welch would say at General Electric. We have a proactive ScanWorks service that is monitoring all aspects of ScanWorks, making sure that this mission-critical application is running at all times and is taking a proactive stance if anything should go wrong, so that service is restarted and things are up and running. And it gives us tremendous reliability. The Sentinel service also is the place for the XDev runtime licensing. We can talk about that in more detail, if there's interest. Service control from inside the Dynamics AX client. As we said, it's very cleanly and tightly integrated with Dynamics AX, the AOT and all of those good things that Philip talked about, but you can actually control this service and run it right from in the Dynamics AX client. Lastly, we have a lot of desktop alerts that are going to let you know about any unfavorable conditions in your mobile data collection architecture or network. Just a brief word on the SaaS licensing. Yes, for those that want to buy it by the day, by the month, by the transaction, we've got all of those kind of combinations, making ScanWorks affordable and certainly easy to use and pay on really much as-you-go basis. Commercial terms can be tailored to meet your needs, whether it be daily maximum concurrent users, daily distinct use of certain transactions, or total number of transactions that you a day. We've got a lot of combinations here that can be considered, and that's all a part of the ScanWorks Enterprise kit. So yes, we want to provide everything so that you're successful. Whether you're a partner, an ISV, or a customer, we've put a lot of effort in supporting this product before we've even announced it, and that's why we've had such a lengthy build-up to this, because we've been working overtime to make sure we have all of these good things, in place. So the arrangements will be, partners that are interested, ISVs that are interested, customers that think are qualified, certainly going through, the product in a little more detail, and certainly then providing you with those tools that you need to get started. The training programs certainly should come first, and once training is complete, certainly there will be a certain number of entitlements for partners as well as the customers. And again, your sales reps will be able to give you what those entitlements are. Just ask them if you'd like a complete list of what we're going to provide. Lastly, just one other feature that's kind of new that's come about with all of this new development we've done over the past year. And this is really a product which I guess I would call more of a ScanWorks product manager. You might call it an installer, an updater, but it is a program that is able to run on your system that gives you a lot of power and control of your ScanWorks environment. The ability to install with the touch of a button transactions that you're entitled to. The ability to go out and get updates and new versions of transactions. The ability to roll those back. Really manage all of your ScanWorks software and installations from a single point and a very, very powerful tool that's going to really streamline this entire process. So we can tell you more about that as well, but just so you know, the need to get an analyst on the phone and go through all the rigmarole you need to do to get an update, we're taking that all away. We're going to let you service yourself in a very, very friendly marketplace, with this tool. Let's talk a bit about rebranding. Certainly we are going to allow that for approved partners, for approved ISVs. Certainly willing to attach your own name, your own brand. And you can resell it under that name. All we ask that you give us a little notoriety saying that it's powered by ScanWorks. And Kathy, hopefully you've got some more T-shirts and mouse pads left.
We have two more T-shirt mouse pad combination coming up, and then the biggie at the end, the Surface tablet. So the next winner is John M. John M. I feel like I'm doing the Powerball or something here. All right, and the last T-shirt winner is Mike M. Again, Mike M. And now, Roger, you can do the drum roll for me here.
This is the biggie, huh?
This is the biggie. Somebody might make their kids very happy for Christmas if they keep it in the box. Last one for the Surface tablet is Ann B. So we will be sending that out to Ann B, and we will be emailing all those of the T-shirt, again, the T-shirt winners for your sizes, and those will be coming to you via the mail. And thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Kathy, and congratulations to our winners. Congratulations, Ann, and all of those others out there. Well, we're about on time, and I think it's amazing when we can finish early. We do appreciate you taking so much time out of your busy day and learning about what's going on with ScanWorks, and certainly our new ScanWorks Enterprise Edition. As far as next steps, certainly we've got a sales team that's ready to help you understand and learn more about this. Certainly you can call in. You probably know some of our sales reps. Many of you are probably working with them already, and they'll be equipped to give you information. Brad and his team have documented everything that we're talking about today, and I think just in a few minutes after this presentation, at least by this evening, all of this good information will be up on our website for you to take a look. In fact, some of it may be already there now. And partners and ISVs, watch your mailbox. We're going to be sending you something, and we certainly hope that that will lead to some open dialogue and some collaboration on how we can help you and everyone make mobile applications easy. So I want to thank you for attending. Thank you, Philip, Brad, Kathy. If you would like to talk to us in person, I'm happy to say that we're going to be at the AXUG Summit in beautiful Tampa, Florida. Kathy and I will certainly be there. I think Philip is going to be attending and others. Please stop by our booth. It's booth number 119. Who knows? Kathy might be giving away more stuff there. So with that, I'll say thanks again and wish you all well.